Hello and welcome back to BeamNG Drive for some freestyle here at Gillette Stadium. We have 16 trucks to go through and only one of them will make it on to the World Finals. Anyway, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently. We're going to be doing a two-part video instead of one long video in hopes that I can kind of get more views and thus more people to vote in the poll that I do to determine the freestyle winner. Anyway, let's explain the rules. Here we have our trusty CRD chassis. Now, each truck will have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to complete the course, and their time will start when they do their first stunt or hit their first obstacle. At some point during the run, a truck might roll over. If it does, it is allowed to get back onto its wheels, assuming the engine does not first starve of oil. If the engine is starved of oil, then the run is over for the truck. Now, let's demonstrate how this will work a little bit first. So let's grab our truck, and let's roll it over first. Alright, so, when the truck rolls over, it is allowed to get itself back up onto its wheels once, and then from there, it is allowed to continue. However, if it rolls over again, then the run will be over. So, with the rules out of the way, let's move on to our first truck. Our first truck of the day is Hooked. This truck had a pretty good racing run. Here it is, the little walk-around feature that BeamNG introduced some time ago, giving you a pretty good look at the truck for now. Alright, here goes Hooked. Remember, the clock will not start until Hooked hits his first obstacle or performs his first stunt. Here Hooked goes. Alright, looks like he's going for the ramp in the racing lane, and up he goes. Going into the air, landing back down, the clock has begun. Alright, now he's got to turn himself around to go for the next obstacles. Here he goes. Right up the ramp, getting some pretty good air, landing right on the nose, letting the hood come off. Getting some pretty good air off that little ramp. Popping a little bit of a wheelie right afterwards. Going up the little ramp at the end of the stadium for some fairly good air. Turning around, pedal to the floor, going up the ramp, landing and bouncing off the racing ramp, and is able to recover. Pops himself into the air once again. Ooh, a little bit into a wheelie there. Alright, getting himself turned around. Here he goes, full speed. Up he goes and clears the obstacle, landing smoothly on the other side and popping a wheelie off of that one. Alright, turning himself around once again. Looks like he's going to go for the big jump. There he goes, into the air, and lands back down pretty hard. Tumbles a little bit, can he save it? Absolutely. Lands it right back down, and that will continue his driving. Here he goes once again, getting some pretty good air. Oh, it's going to land on the nose again. It's a little bit of a bounce off that, but nothing seems to be broken so far. Alright, looks like he's going to try and go into a donut. There he goes. Hooked had entered a little bit of a donut. Going across some of the jumps here. Alright, looking for his next obstacle. Hook seems to have found it. Up he goes, getting some pretty good air. Looks like he's going for the backflip ramp. There he goes, into a spin. Lands it down hard on the front wheel. Seems to be loose a little bit. Into a turn he goes. Going right across the water. Landing it back down. Turning himself around. And time will be up for Hook. Setting some of the body panels there, it seems, and it looks like that will be the end of the run for Hooked. Up next, we have Mohawk Warrior. Another truck that we have. This one is, once again, we're showing it off through walking around. I remember seeing this truck come out for the first time. It looked pretty good, and I still think it looks pretty good. Anyway, here it goes. Mohawk Warrior is off and up their first obstacle, landing sideways it seems. Are they able to save it? Yes, they are. Got a little crazy there, but Mohawk Warrior seems to be alright. Alright, here it goes. Getting some pretty big air off that ramp. Ooh, and lands down pretty hard. Alright, turning himself around once again. Going for one of the ramps next to the big one. Gets some pretty big air off that once again. And bounces a little bit. Almost pops it into a wheelie. Oh, can they save it? Oh, that was a pretty good save there for Mohawk Warrior. Alright, they're going in between the two sections, and it looks like Mohawk Warrior's hitting the backflip ramp. Oh, and they're gonna roll right up and over, landing right back down, and that Mohawk is still looking good. Bouncing around a little bit as he turns himself around once again to go after these big jumps. Up he goes. Lands back down for a little bounce. Hits the next ramp right across for some big air. Now he's got to go back around once again. Off he goes, getting a lot of speed. Up the ramp. Lands it right back down. Ooh, clips the back end of that ramp. Pops a little bit of a wheelie. Turns himself around once again. Looks like he's going for the big ramp. Up he goes. Ooh, lands it back down hard on the rear wheels. Ooh, loses one of his rear wheels as he comes down. Looks like he's gonna try and do a donut. Or not. Runs over his wheel that he lost. Alright, up he goes, up and across. Ooh, lands on his side. This is gonna cost one of the saves, I believe. Alright, 10 more seconds. What else can Mohawk Warrior do in this time? 5 seconds. Up the ramp. And lands it back down, and that will be time for Mohawk Warrior. Let's see if Mohawk Warrior's gonna do one more jump here. Up he goes, yet another jump, lands it on sideways. Runs over his tire again, comes back down. It's a ramp once again, and we'll land it back down. It's one more ramp, gets some big air, lands down hard on the side pushing the wheel. Lands down hard once again. And it looks like that will be the end of the run for Mohawk Warrior. Up next we have Taz, one of the most recent trucks added to the mod pack. At the time this was recorded, which was quite a while ago. Sorry it took so long to make this video. But yeah, Taz looks pretty good. Alright, into Taz we go. Off to start off Taz's run. Looks like he's going to go for one of the ramps. Up he goes, gets some big air. Goes into a little bounce. Goes right up and over. Into the turn Taz goes, turning himself right around. Going right up the ramp, gets some big air. and lands it back down with a little bounce, almost jumping over the opposite ramp. Alright, turning himself around once again, going for the other ramp next to the big ramp. Lands it down hard, and we'll go over on the other side. Alright, turning around yet again. Oh, looks like he's gonna try and start a donut. Yep, here he goes into a donut. Taz goes. Alright, pretty good donut there from Taz. Up one of the other ramps he goes. Lands it back smoothly on the other side. Alright, turning himself around. Looks like he's going for the big ramp. Up he goes. Gets some amazing air. And lands back down. Going around, looks like he's going for one of the other ramps. Get some pretty good air off of that. Land it back down. And going right up and over on the other side. Going for the backside of that small ramp, it looks like. Lands into the little barriers there. Alright, turning himself around, going pretty fast as he goes for that ramp. Gets some pretty good distance off of that. Lands back down hard on the other side. Turning himself around once again. Up he goes. Clears the other side. Looks like he's going for the backflip ramp. Up he goes. And lands it back down smoothly. Oh, looks like he's going in reverse for this one. Up he goes. And lands it right back down on the other side. And then comboing it back by going up to the other end. Getting some more air off the ramps. Time is now up for Taz, so everything else you see is just for show as he goes up the side of the small ramp. Getting some big air once again. Lands it back down hard on the other side. Going across the stadium to find his ramp with some cars embedded in it. Up he goes, gets some good air off of that, and almost bounces over the other ramps. Alright, and it looks like that is the end of the run for Taz. Up next, we have the truck Raisin Steel. Another truck we haven't used yet. As you can see, it has a piece of a steel bar on it. I'm giving you the walk around to see what the rest of the truck looks like. Alright, into the truck we go, and getting this run started. Looks like we're not going to go around, we're going to go straight for the ramp on the other side of the stadium, getting some big air to start off with, and getting a good bounce on the other end. Turning around and going full speed for one of the other ramps. Get some pretty good air off of that, and going straight into the backflip ramp. Lands it on the hood and loses the hood in the process. Oh, rolls it over. Ooh, yeah. Looks like he's going to have to use the save to get back onto his wheels, which he does. And up the other end of the ramp, another front flip as the rear wheels clip the ramp. Also loses the tailgate. Let's see what else he has in store for this run. Off he goes, getting some pretty good speed. Tumbles it over. And lands right back onto the other side. Turning himself around, looks like he's going to go for one of the racing ramps. Near to the racing ramp. Up he goes, clears the other end. Bounces a little bit as he comes off of it. Turning himself around. Full speed for the ramp. Gets some big air and lands it down right back on the other side pretty hard. Gets a little bit squirrely. Oh, can he save it? Can he save it? No. He lands on his side, and that will be the end of the run for Raisin Steel. Up next, we have Red Solo Truck. I believe this truck lost in the first round of racing, and it kind of looks like one of the Red Solo Cups you'll find. So here's the walk around of it. Looks pretty basic, white on top, red on the sides, just like a Red Solo Cup. Anyway, here goes Red Solo Truck. Looks like he's going to go for the small ramp this time. No. Alright, looks like that wasn't going to be his idea. Or is it? What's he going to do? He accelerates and will hit the small ramp, starting his runoff. Starting off small, looks like he's going to try and get bigger, possibly. Going up the racing lane, lands down on the front on the other side. Turning himself around to go hit the other ramps. Up he goes, gets some pretty good air off of that. To the next ramps, up and down once again. Popping a little bit of a wheelie as he accelerates off from there. Turning around, and looks like he's going for the racing ramp. Up he goes, and clears the other side of that area. Alright, turning himself around. Off he goes, full speed. Up, pretty good air. Lands back down, and is going for the backflip ramp. Here he goes. Ooh, lands it on the side. Loses the hood. Can he save it? Yes, he can. Oh, what's he going to do? Oh, he's going to go in reverse. Up he goes. And right back down. Up he goes, trying to go across some of the obstacle here. Looks like he's going to hit the ramp next to the one with the cars in it. Lands it back down. Alright, here he goes again. Up the ramp. Lands it back down hard on the rear wheels. Goes up and down onto the other side. It looks like he's going to try and start a donut here, but with the wheels popping up, it looks like he's going to have a little bit of trouble doing that. Alright, looks like he's not going to do a donut. He's going to go up the ramp next to the racing lane. Lands it back down. Lands a little bit sideways as his wheel clips the ramp. Up and down he goes once again. Turning himself around. Getting some speed as he goes up one of the ramps. Gets some pretty good distance off of that. Pops a little bit of a wheelie. Clips the ramp and does a front flip. 5 seconds left to go. And time is up for Red Solo Truck. And he lands right back down onto the other side from that big ramp. Turning himself around, up the opposite end of the racing ramp. Lands it right back down smoothly on the other side. And he's done. It looks like that is the end of the run for Red Solo Truck. Up next we have Bulldozer, a truck that is sadly no longer used anymore. But this particular Bulldozer had a little bit of a crash during racing. But it's here, and it's ready for Freestyle. And for those of you who don't know, this truck came before the El Toro Loco trucks. Alright, here he goes. Bulldozer has left the starting area, and it looks like he's going to start off big with the center jump. Gets a nice little bounce from his rear wheels. Up and down he goes. Turning himself around, going for one of the ramps, gets some big air off of that. and lands back down with a little bounce. Up and down he goes, turning around once again, and back towards the ramps. Goes at a very high speed and clears the other ramps and obstacle. Going around, hitting one of the ramps he started off with, and gets big air. Lands down hard on the rear wheels, and then hits the front wheel on one of the ramps. I'm surprised nothing broke from that. Going up one of the little ramps as he makes a turn. It's a little bit swirly, but has managed to recover. Up the ramp he goes. Lands back down hard on the racing ramp. Well, it looks like that rear left wheel's gotten a little bit loose. That's gonna hurt the steering a little bit. Up he goes sideways, lands sideways. Alright, up he goes, gets some pretty good air off that, lands back down, and it looks like that wheel's giving him a little trouble as he tries turning. Up Bulldozer goes, lands down onto the other side. Up onto the top of the plateau. Lands back down onto the other side. Makes the turn. Up he goes a little sideways. Ooh, lands down on the side. Oh, rolls it over. Can he recover? No. He is on his roof, and he is not getting up from that. Rather unfortunate for Bulldozer, but that is the end of the run. Up next, we have Stone Crusher, a pretty famous and good truck that has made it to the World Finals quite a lot. But now it's here to see whether it can make it into my World Finals. Had a pretty alright run in racing. I believe it made it into the semifinals, I believe. And here it is at its hand for Freestyle. Off he goes off the starting gate. Going past a lot of the obstacles, looks like he's going to go for the back end of the stadium to start his run. Alright, off he goes right across, sticks the nose right up into the air, lands back down on the other side, pops a wheelie for a little bit, before comboing up right onto the other ramp. Lands on his side, but that doesn't seem to be stopping Stone Crusher at all. Up he goes, right back onto the other side. Up the ramps, back down onto the other side once again. Looks like Stone Crusher's going to be trying a donut here. There he goes. Stone Crusher's giving us some donuts to look at. Looks like the donuts are over. Up he goes. Goes on his side a little bit. That seems to be alright. And he then goes for the backflip ramp and lands it down smoothly. It looks like Stone Crusher's going to pull a Taz and pull it into reverse and go right up and over on the other side. And since he's there, he may as well go forward since there's not much in reverse as he rolls over and lands it right back onto his wheels. Up Stone Crusher goes, gets some pretty nice air and distance off that ramp. Going up the little ramp at the end of the stadium. Here he goes, full speed up the ramp, gets some pretty big air, lands down hard onto the rear wheels. Turning himself around. Up he goes, he almost missed that ramp. Lands down hard on the rear wheels and drives on the front end for a little bit. Lands it down and saves it once again. Trying to go up the big ramp, it seems. Doesn't really get that much air, but does pop a wheelie as he exits the ramp. hits the side on the ramp, and seems to continue on going. Up the ramp he goes. Lands it down on the other side. Oop, rolls it over again. Can he save it? Oh, can he save it? 5 seconds left to go. Come on, can he save it before time runs out? And yes, Stone Crusher has saved it, and time is up. Here goes Stone Crusher going up the ramp. Lands down hard, gets a little bit of a bounce. And with pretty much almost all the body panels gone, it looks like Stone Crusher's not going to be stopped until now. Looks like that will be the end of the run for Stone Crusher. Up next is Raisin Kane. This will be our last truck for part 1 before we then move on to part 2. Getting that walk around here, looking at its blue roll cage and the blue insides of the tires. Into the truck we go. Off goes Raisin Kane. Up the big ramp, Raisin Kane goes. Lands down hard on the rear wheels, but that doesn't seem to stop them. Turning around, Raisin Kane goes full speed into the ramp with the cars in it. Gets some big air. Lands it down hard and jumps over the other end of the ramps. Rolls it over a little bit. Are they able to recover? Yes, they are. Right back onto all 4 wheels. And pretty much the entire front half of the body is gone. Getting some little bounces. Driving on the front a little bit as the rear wheels clip the ramp. Turning around, going full speed once again. Gets some pretty nice distance. Lands it down, gets a little bit of a bounce, and hops up over the other ramps. Going down the racing lane, up the racing ramp, gets some pretty good air time off of that before landing back down nice and smoothly. Turning around once again, up he goes, jumps over the racing lane. Turning himself around, looks like he's gonna get even more air and almost lands on his side. Pops a little bit of a wheelie as he drives off. Turning himself around yet again. Going full speed. Up he goes. Got some pretty good air time. Pops the nose up into the air as he goes off the other side. Turning himself around yet again. Oh, rolls it over. And looks like he's going to have to use his save to get back on the wheels. Up he goes, right onto his wheels. And it looks like he's finally decided what to do. Pops a little bit of a wheelie. Rear wheels clip and does a front flip. Pretty amazing move by Raisin Kane. There's about 5 seconds left on the clock now. Up he goes. Time is up, and he lands it right back down. Goes across some of the obstacle, and that seems to be the end for Raisin Kane. And with that, that will be the end of part 1, and I'll see you in part 2.